Hello and welcome to Murderous Midwest. I'm Abby.
And this is Eleanor.
And today we are talking about
Brice
We've already messed up his last name, people.
Laspisa.
There we go.
We got it. I got it. This is very exciting. So he was born April 30th, 1994 here in Springfield, Illinois, so really, really close to us.
Yeah.
He was an only child. He made friends really easily, and he was very artistically inclined.
Ooh,
so
there's an artist on our hands.
Yes. And so just kind of a great overall kid. Nothing really a lot to say in his childhood. He had two parents that loved each other. No fighting or anything like that. Seemed like he just had the ideal suburban childhood. He graduated in 2012. And right around that age, his parents were retiring, so they moved to California and brought him with them.
Ooh.
So while in California, he moved 458 miles away, about 7 hours away. The time and the mile is specific for a later reason, so really hold on to that.
Okay.
So 7 hours away, he goes to community college. He begins to study at this community college. He goes for an art degree. I believe he went for a digital design degree for company logos and all that jazz. So he got good grades, and he got along really well with his roommate that he was staying with, and he became one of his best friends. He began dating Kim Sly, and had just a wonderful college career. He says that he really, really loved it and couldn't wait to get back. So once the summer hit, he went back to spend the summer with his parents, but all he could think about was going back to school as soon as he could.
It's a little weird.
It is a little odd, but
get it, I guess.
He loved the college life. He loved being around all the friends and just doing all that type of jazz.
Yeah.
So he went back 2 weeks before school started to his dorms, as soon as the dorms opened, along with his roommate, and started doing some interesting stuff there. So his parents report that they did not notice any interesting changing in behavior when they dropped him off. They talked with him. They spent that one day with him when they dropped him off over at campus, and they did not see any changes with Brice. But when class started, he became a little withdrawn from his parents. He usually had daily conversations with his mother, but those started to cease a little bit to exist. Just started slowly leaning off of those, which she just thought, classes are starting, he's getting a little busy. But there is
by this time it's his second year of college, right?
This is his second year of college. And classes have just started. And so she said that there was no reason that she thought she should be concerned. But there is a reason that she should have been concerned.
There's always a reason to be concerned.
Okay, so when he went back to college, he began using drugs more often than ever. He had used drugs recreationally at parties supposedly to just try them out as a college student.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do drugs.
Drugs are bad.
Don't do drugs. Turns into a promotional video. But he starts using drugs more than before. Kim, his girlfriend, admits to the fact that she knew he was taking He was taking a drug called Vyvanse.
Okay. So she was aware that this was going on.
She told police. So we got a case building here.
Oh,
so she told police that she knew that he was taking Vyvanse, which is used to treat ADHD, which is a condition he did not have or suffered symptoms of having.
Oh. Do we know how he got the medication? Could it be possibly from his roommate?
Yes, it is possible, but unlikely.
Okay.
His roommate did not partake in drugs himself.
Oh, okay. So, we're at this point,
So, she said that she started, I'm sorry, I lost my place.
Yeah, he started taking...
So, he started taking, when he found out that it could help him stay up longer, which I heard from one source it was because he wanted to play video games longer, and so he took them originally for that reason, and then became addicted to them as he went on.
I think that is my favorite reason anybody has ever tried drugs before.
Yeah, it's because
they wanted to play video games.
Don't do drugs. Night. Don't do drugs. Thank you, Abby. So it gave him a lot of side effects. Wow, side effects.
You can talk. I believe in you.
I believe in me too. It gave him a lot of side effects such as psychosis, depression, and mania. Like, these really intense side effects that he was not expecting. His parents started to notice, like, different behavior. His roommate admits to seeing him do it almost every single day.
Oh, wow. How far are we in, like, to school at this point?
He was only 2 days into the semester.
Oh, geez. That's fun.
Yeah, so he starts taking it almost every day. He also begins, like, heavy drinking with it. Like, a hardcore, like, vodka while taking the pills.
Dang.
And whiskey.
Yeah, that's never a good idea.
And yeah, he was only 2 days into the semester.
Yikes. Man, either his teachers sucked or he just was not a good person.
Yeah, so then we reach, I would love to see how your opinion grows of him. So we reach August 27th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
He broke up with his girlfriend over text at random with no prompting.
Over text? How many months were they together?
Oh, I don't know.
Do we know how long they were together?
I did not write that down, and honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
So it was they dated at the beginning. He started dating her the year prior.
Oh, okay.
So they dated through the summer. Yeah, I'm gonna say around a year.
Okay.
And they dated through the summer and kept on visiting each other. Then he texted after breaking up over text with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. He texted Sean, his roommate, and said, and I quote, "I love you, bro. You are the best thing I've ever, you are the best person I've ever met, and you saved my soul."
Oh, that's, what?
And then he gave his Xbox to his roommate.
So we're seeing, like, classic signs of suicide.
Yes. Moving further.
Okay, no comment on the suicide. I'm curious.
Oh, yes. Well, it is a suspected outcome of the end of this, but some believe something different. And so it's very interesting.
Oh, okay.
That was August 27th. This is August 28, 2013.
Okay.
28th.
Yes.
His roommate decided he was going to do something about this weird behavior. And so he called Brice's mom and said, "He's doing drugs. I'm really worried about him. This isn't right. I think you need to do something."
This dude is being a good person.
So he's calling, I mean, they're second year in college and he's having to call his roommate's mom.
Yeah. I mean, they are still young adults.
Yeah. No. This guy's Sean, the roommate, seems like a really decent guy.
Very good human being. Dun, dun, dun. It was Sean.
It was Sean all along. So Brice's mom, so Brice calls his mom, right? Mm-hmm. At random, without any prompting, and said that he made the 1.5 hour drive to his ex-girlfriend's house a day after they had just broken up.
Did the mom know that they had broken up? Did we know if she was made aware of that?
Well, she's definitely aware now. This is only a day after.
Yes.
And so they had broken up. And so she got called into the middle of a fight between the two of them. So Brice's ex-girlfriend and Brice.
He called his mom while they were in the middle of a fight?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And said that Kim would not let him drive home. And so she tries to calm down the situation. She gets the phone handed to her, so she talks to Kim, she talks to Brice. And Kim does not think that he is well enough to drive home.
Imagine getting a call from your, adult son.
Yeah.
Being like, "Mommy, help me fight this girl." You know?
Mm-hmm. She has my keys. She has my keys. So his mom tells her to give back his keys. Mm-hmm. And she says, on the phone that she didn't notice any behavior that was off about him. He just seemed really upset about something, but he didn't see him, drunk or anything.
Either this dude is really good at, acting, or his mom just kind of sucks.
Yeah, And so his girlfriend noticed something off, but the mom tells the girlfriend to hand him his keys. She tells Brice to go straight home. And she's getting a flight out there ASAP.
Okay.
Brice says not to come. He says, "Don't come. He will talk to her alone because," and I quote, "he has a lot of things to talk to her about before she visits."
Ooh.
So she's like, "Okay, fine." So he leaves his ex-girlfriend's house. that is an hour and a half away from campus, is instructed to go back to campus at 11:30 on August 28th. Got those dates down?
Yep.
Okay, so at 1 a.m., August 29th, just, a couple hours later, the mom is woken up by another call, and Brice is calling again. But I could not find what they discussed on this phone call.
Really? Like, it was just nowhere?
Like, I at least had to go to, 20 different sources.
Okay, so there's a major,
there is a
here.
hole in this, and I can't seem to figure it out. I watched a bunch of crime documentaries talk about this one, and I cannot find what was discussed.
I think it's probably safe to assume that one of two things. Either one, something extremely important happened in that phone call that they don't want to disclose, or two, there was extremely private information shared on that, and that's why it's not released to the public.
So then she goes back to bed.
Okay.
So around 11 a.m. the next day, I guess it's the same day.
Yeah.
29th. They are woken up around 11 a.m. and told that their insurance roadside assistance was used.
Okay.
Somebody calls them and is like, hey, is this you type of situation? So they say, we have not been out yet today. Who used our roadside assistance, and they said it was used by your son.
Ooh.
At 9 a.m.
Okay.
So they are like, okay, thank you. And they called Brice up, as you would, and he did not answer. And they called him 2 more times, and he still wouldn't answer. So then they call Sean, the roommate. And he said, and they're like, hey, is Brice there? Is he sleeping? Did he get home okay? And Sean goes and continues to tell him that he never saw him come back home.
Oh, so Brice never,
he never came
back
home,
to the house.
and he still isn't there, and he doesn't know where he's been. He hasn't seen him since last night. So,
suspicious.
They discover They discover a charge on their credit card in a small town called Buttonwillow, 3 hours from their home.
So this dude drove.
So
4
that's
hours?
8 hours away from Kim's house, where he left the night before.
So this spot that's 3 hours away from their house is 8 hours away from
Kim's house.
Oh.
So he was supposed to only take the 1.5 hour drive back to
their dorms.
The dorms, and he started making an 8-hour drive home, his parents' home. So they're like, okay, maybe he thought that he was just supposed to go home to us.
Yeah.
So they get a hold of who did the roadside assistance. And it was some guy in Buttonwillow, who will become a really major part of the story. So
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so they talked to this guy.
Do you know what this guy's name is?
I did not write it down.
Okay.
I think I thought I would remember it. And I don't.
Hey, that's okay. We've all done that before.
We're gonna name him
Billy.
Okay, so they talked to Billy, who had seen him in Buttonwillow.
There you go.
And he was the one that had responded to the roadside assistance, and said that Brice had ran out of gas and called him to refill him.
Okay.
So then at 11:30 p.m., so let's break this down. So at 11:30 p.m., Brice leaves Kim's house.
Yes.
And drives 9 hours, 8 hours, depending on a couple sources says 9, a couple sources say 8.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Google Maps says 8.
Okay, so it's
8-ish. Then at 9 a.m., Brice gets help in Buttonwillow from Billy, 3 hours from home. So we have missing time in this.
Yeah.
He should already be home.
He should already be, to his parents' home?
Yeah.
Because his parents' home is 7 hours away.
Uh-huh.
So...
he should already be home. What? By this logic. For 1 to 2 hours. So where is he? This is the question.
Yeah.
So, the guy, Billy, says that he gave her 3 gallons of gas.
Him 3 gallons.
Oh, yeah, thank you. You know what? How dare you assume? Said that he seemed fine. that he didn't, like, seem off at all.
Yeah.
Told him that, Brice had told him that he was on his way home to his parents' house. But Brice was still not answering his phone. And it was almost 12 hours from the last time that they had discussed with him, like, talked with him at all.
Oh, okay.
And he still has not answered his phone and cannot be found.
Now I'm assuming it's around 1 p.m., right? On the 29th. Because if it's 12 hours, he called his mom at 1.
At 1 a.m., yeah.
1 a.m. Okay, so yeah. It's around 1 o'clock now.
So 15 minutes later, the guy calls back, right?
Billy. Okay.
Billy calls back. He says, hey, I'm going to go. I'll go look for him.
Okay. Go Billy.
Right? Billy's just, there's a lot of, like, really great people in this story.
What a good human.
Right? Go Billy.
Go Billy.
Only if I remembered your name, Billy. And when he got to the spot that he last saw Brice, because he's like, if I'm going to look there first. Mm-hmm. He was still sitting in his car in the same spot on the side of the road that he had just seen him 3 hours earlier. When he filled him up.
Brice hasn't moved.
Brice has not moved for 3 hours. So the guy, like, goes up to the window, right? Mm-hmm. And he peers in the car and sees Brice sitting there completely fine. Completely fine.
He's totally conscious, too, right?
Totally conscious, seems fine. So he's like, hey, dude, I got your parents on the phone. They're really worried about you, and gave him the phone. Mm-hmm. If y'all see me, I realize that I'm making a phone like you're Brice. I'm like, here you go, Abby. Let me hand you my hand phone that I'm making.
Little side note, have you noticed how, like, kids make phones these days? They put the
whole hand.
Instead of doing the weird little, like pinky and thumb thing.
Yeah,
If anybody knows what I'm talking about, like.
So when you, like, play make-believe, like, phone, you, like, put your 3 middle, like, fingers down, and you, like, put out your thumb and your pinky, right? To, like, make a phone.
Make, like, a flip phone type thing.
They, like, just keep all their fingers, like, flat and, like, hold it up to the air like a smartphone.
A flat hand, and they hold it like a smartphone, and it's so weird. I saw that happen a couple days ago.
Because they don't know what these phones are.
Yeah, I saw it happen a couple days ago, and I'm like, what?
I remember when that first came out, Jack was really young, so I asked Jack to, like, hold a fake phone up to his ear, and he did, like, the flat palm.
Oh my gosh,
and I was like,
freak out.
What are you doing?
Okay, continue.
So she gets so the mom's on the phone, she gets a hold of Brice, right, finally. Mm-hmm. After 12 hours, she starts asking questions like, why weren't you not answering the phone? What was taking you so long? Why haven't you moved? All, like, the big questions.
Yeah, well, logical questions are being asked
Brice does not really answer any of the questions.
He just kind of, like, brushes them off? Or
he like, dances around them and says other things instead. But he says that he's fine, and he seems fine. That's, like, they say this a lot. They say that he seems fine.
Yeah, I've noticed that pattern. They keep saying he seems fine, but there's obviously
something wrong.
Because
they're looking for something to be wrong. He said that he was just getting some sleep and that he was heading home now.
Okay. I want to know what their definition of fine is, because I don't think this is fine.
So he still had 3 hours and 30 minutes left for his drive.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Before he gets back home. So the guy, Billy, watches him pull off.
He doesn't follow him or anything. He
sits in his car and he wants to see him drive off this time. He doesn't drive away first like he did last time. He watches him drive off.
Well, that's good. Sort of.
So they wait, right? And then 3:30 rolls around and Brice is still not found. And he's not answering his phone again.
Well, yeah, the time beforehand was what? 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
And he had a 3.5 hour drive home, so he would be home around like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. No. So they say that he should have been home by now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because remember, they get a call at 11.
Yes.
And then they see the credit card charge, and so
I see.
That is what our timeline looks like.
Okay.
So he should have been home by now.
Yes.
So even by 6 p.m. So they try not to figure out, like, maybe he got delayed with something. So then by 6 p.m., he still is not found and is not home.
What is with these people? They're just letting so much go.
So they decided to file a missing persons report.
Yeah.
They can't find Brice. So the police go back to the last time that he was seen. They go back to the same spot that he saw him drive off last time. Mm-hmm. Not expecting to find him there. Over by the rest stop. So they get there and they don't see any cars, so they begin to like pull off where he would be driving, and they see a car pulled over on the side of the highway.
Oh, Jesus.
And it matches his car's description. So they pull it over. So they go and they pull over. They walk up to the car, roll down the window.
Wait, can I guess? It's Brice.
And he was in the car.
Was
He was
fine this
only
time?
8 miles away from where he was this morning.
So he drove away from this guy just enough to get Billy to leave, and then pulled over again?
Mm-hmm.
What? What?
Okay, so Brice was alive
sort of logic
and well in the car.
I'm trying to find some sort of logic behind this guy's thinking, and I literally cannot think of anything.
He has sat in this car for 9 hours.
Maybe he's in a state of mania.
Yeah, that some people I do. Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
a
I mean that would make the
suspicion.
most sense because what?
So police asked him to roll on his window, and he rolls down his window, and they asked what he is doing as he has been sitting here for 9 hours, and he says he's just on his way home. And
yeah, buddy, sure.
But he had been in that area for a total of 20 hours.
I'm kind of okay. I just had the funniest picture in the world, and I know this is not a funny case, but I have this picture in my mind of him in a state of mania, and he's pulled over on the side of the road, but he doesn't know he's on the side of the road, so he's just in his car
Having. But he doesn't see that way. They'd be able to notice that type of behavior.
I mean, not necessarily.
So they tell him about the missing persons report, but he tells police that he was just clearing his head.
For 9 hours.
Correction, 20 hours.
20
if
hours,
we
sorry.
include the first time that Billy came.
Yes.
And
I'm
then-
honestly surprised that they were allowed to file a police report.
Well,
Usually, in order
yeah.
to file a missing persons report, they have to be missing for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So
So the police didn't completely fail on this one. They kind of slid on the rules a little bit.
yeah.
So they see this is odd behavior, as we both are able to see, and so police make him take a sobriety test,
Oh, that's good.
and he passes.
How?
They make him take it a total of 2 times, because the first time they don't believe it, so they make him taste it again.
So, which sobriety test? Are we talking breathalyzer? Are we talking the weird straight walking down
Both.
line? Okay.
They did police claim that they did a full sobriety test, including breathalyzer and,
The weird walking line
yeah,
test.
weird. They call it something fancy. I forgot what it
Well,
was.
I'm not a police officer, so I don't know all their terms.
Fancy walkie.
Fancy straight line thingy. There you go.
So they are like, okay, we're gonna search his vehicle
Mm-hmm.
for drugs, for any type of thing, and they
They
found nothing. And Brice seems calm. He seems stable, level-headed, and alert.
What is with this guy?
So that's their definition of seems normal. Is calm, stable, level-headed, and alert. Which I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So they make him call his parents in front of them this time.
Yeah.
And the mom is relieved to hear from him.
That he's alive.
And she tells him to come home, which I don't know why she just wouldn't go to him this time, because we
Yeah.
all know he's fine with waiting.
Yeah, obviously.
So she asked the officer to take him in, to keep him safe and take him in, and she'll come and get him. But he says that he can't do that he doesn't have any possible charge to take him in and arrest him.
The officer said that?
Yes.
And
so-
what? Hold
and
on.
says that he
Pause.
seems
Pause.
fine.
Pause. The officer can't take him into his custody because it's a missing persons report. Yes, he can.
Well, he's not missing anymore.
That doesn't mean anything.
He says that he seems fine. And
They
so
have to
he
do a
can't-
full evaluation. These cops suck.
Yeah. Yep. So the mom asked the man who filled up Billy, the gas,
Go, Billy.
go, Billy. And so they leave, right? And so the mom asks him to, hey, can you go check in the area for me, please, and thank you. And Billy, like a decent human being,
Actually went.
went and
Good.
went and do
Go,
it.
Billy.
15 minutes later, it drove down to the road where he was supposed to leave, and Brice is still pulled over to the side of the road in the same spot where the police asked him to leave an hour ago.
What is wrong with this dude?
So they asked him to leave. The mom asked them to take him in. He says, no, I can't do that. So then the mom hangs up. They say the police leave. He starts to drive away. Heavy quotations around drive away. So then 15 minutes after, like, the police is like, adios, mama.
I am so unbelievably
She asked
confused.
Billy because he's not answering his phone.
Yes.
So she asked Billy, like, to go check on him, and he's still there an hour later.
I'm so unbelievable. Like,
So
I'm so confused as to
Billy
what this
tells
guy is
Brice
thinking right now.
to go home.
They
like,
honestly, this adult man needs a babysitter. Like, quite literally.
So that Billy tells Brice to go home. And Brice says, okay, I'll go.
Obviously, just saying go home isn't working.
He tells him that he is going to go home, and so he follows him this time. Billy doesn't watch him.
Billy follows him.
Good.
Go, Billy.
10
Go,
minutes.
Billy. Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Well, Billy has a job. Billy has a life. I know. I was upset too, but I realized that Billy's just some guy.
That's true.
Billy's just some guy.
Billy's doing the best he can. We have to give him some slack.
Though I did wish Billy's sane.
Yes.
I also wish I knew Billy's name. The guy,
So he, like, left after 10 minutes. He stopped following him, right?
So, Billy, like, puts out his phone, calls his mom, which he probably has the number saved at this point, and says that he thinks that he's actually going to do it. And so he's like, I have to get back. I think he's driving. I can see him driving. Mm-hmm. He's been doing it for 10 minutes now, which is farther than he's gone the last, over a while.
24 hours.
24 hours, yeah. So Brice talks reportedly to him for hours, so they talk to Brice, right? So mom's talking to Brice on the phone for hours, making sure that he is driving, making sure that he is moving, asking where he is, what is his location. He says that the GPS says he will be home by 3:29 a.m. And then he avoids, like, saying where he's been. He's like, I don't really know where I'm at, but the GPS says that I'm going to be here by this time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it has been 25 hours since he has left. So then at 2:09, he calls and says that he's too tired to continue driving.
Oh, Lord.
And he is going to pull over and sleep for a while.
We all know how this went last time.
So then around 8, they get a knock, expecting Brice at the door. And there's a highway patrol officer wanting to know if they drive the vehicle that Brice was driving.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, that's our vehicle. So the officer breaks the news to the parents.
Oh, no.
That they found the car crashed on its side, abandoned, at the bottom of a 20-foot abandoned cascade by a lake.
What?
And the back window was broken out from the inside. And Brice's phone and laptop were still inside, along with his duffel bag and wallet were outside the car, but still by the car. But Brice was not found.
Oh.
They could not find his body anywhere. And there was a single drop of blood on the back seat.
That's it. Just one?
One drop of blood on the back seat.
Have you seen a picture of said drop of blood? Have you analyzed it yourself, Eleanor? Tell me how big this drop of blood was.
Yay big? I don't know. Centimeter?
Okay.
It was not like a pour, not like a splash.
Oh, you've actually, like, seen the picture?
Yeah.
Oh, I was joking, but okay.
Don't question my detailed search. This one's quite known, like, throughout the community, so there's a lot of information available about it.
Oh, well, that's great. That makes our job really easy.
I know, right? I listened to so many podcasts while doing this.
That's great.
It was great. So around 2:15 a.m., Brice went by a camera, because, always ask where the cameras are.
Well, duh.
He went by a camera.
And he called his mom at 2:09.
Yes.
So this is 6 minutes after that.
This is 2:15. So Brice went by this camera on the road leading, like, to the lake where he later would crash.
Mm-hmm.
He drove by it once and then drove by it again.
Oh. So, like,
Mhm.
was this all in the matter of a few minutes, or was it 2:15 and then, like, another 15 minutes-ish rolled around and
Yeah.
he was there again? Oh, okay.
And
Yes
so he
to the
went
second
around.
one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes to the second one. So he did this twice, right? And Brice, so that was really close to the bottom of the hill, and then they later found the resting place of the car.
And you said it was in a lake or near a lake?
So the way that it was, like, I saw the pictures of it, so it was like, so they think that he was driving his car, and it had, like, this curve. Have you ever been, like, driving by the side of a mountain?
Yes.
So it was kind of like that type of situation where there's those really steep curves.
Yeah.
So he's going by that, and it seemed like he went skirt and went skirt. Oh my gosh, can't make that joke. And the car went down the side and fell, like, down. It went by the lake, but it didn't go in the lake.
Okay. And so his duffel bag and what else were at the outside of the car?
So Brice's phone and laptop were inside the car, and the duffel bag and wallet were outside the car, and the back window was broken out from the inside.
Okay.
And
forming a theory, a hypothesis. This is so incredibly hard to do, though.
Like, there was news reports on this, missing persons reports. Some say that there has been, like, a report of somebody saying that they did see someone who looked like Brice over in the California area near this.
Oh.
But they never saw this man again.
Yeah. They had seen him once and then just never again, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And so some people think that he was,
weird.
like, drug dealings. There's a lot of... There's a lot of theories. So I would love to hear what you think.
I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on it just because this is so weird, but, like, I definitely don't think it was a suicide.
See, at the beginning, you're like, this is basic suicide.
Yeah.
You're like, this is a suicide.
And the thing that changes it for me is
No
the
body.
one spot of blood.
Yeah.
Not even, like, that his body wasn't found, it's the blood. One singular spot of blood. Had he have committed suicide, and let's say that he did, there would have been so much more trauma and signs of trauma against the actual car. And again, I don't think... Is it obvious that the car has crashed?
The car was on its
side, right?
I have yeah, they said it was crashed on its side and abandoned.
Okay. I don't know if he crashed the car.
Ooh, I love it. Continue.
Like I said, had he have crashed the car, and let's say he somehow made it out alive out of this, like, car wreck, there would still be so many signs of trauma, like blunt force trauma, to the car itself, like the interior of the car, the steering wheel, the airbag would have went off, and you would have been able to see DNA against the airbag. The seat belts, for example, would have been torn. There's so many little things in the car.
Pictures of the car online. Just putting that out there. Yeah, you can see pictures of the car.
But yeah, no, I definitely
don't. Dents on the side that I saw and scratches.
No, I believe
but nothing
that.
Huge.
I believe that the car was crashed, but I don't think it was necessarily crashed as bad as we think. Like, I love it. Mm-hmm. I think it is possible that somebody could have killed Brice and then crashed the car to make it look like a suicide. And I'm sure there's somebody who's already said that theory, but I definitely 100% do not think it's a suicide.
Mm-hmm. But other people would argue it's the behavior that he was exhibiting.
Yeah, and that is really weird behavior. And I would say all of the signs point towards suicide, but the evidence doesn't.
And that's why I like this one
so really fun.
Much. It was such a weird... I was sitting, like, just trying to contemplate, like, how...
It's like reality TV, but real.
I was like, how? Okay? What?
Okay.
Trying to find the plot.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, like, process everything in my own mind because there's so much. Yeah. And I usually like to try and form theories if they're unsolved, as we've done before. Yeah. Where you say something and I'm like, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen.
The fact that you followed the same type of thinking path as me, that, like, you were, like, even, like, we had, like, previously gone
We are
through,
very similar.
but the fact, like, my notes were laid out exactly to, like, your questions, that was amazing.
Yes,
very
that was
beautiful.
wonderful. Okay,
very
so yeah,
satisfying.
no, the only thing I have to say is I definitely do not think this was a suicide.
Yeah. So, yeah. Love it. I would love to hear your guys' theories. Comment. I want to hear.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Have you have any questions, comments, or concerns? Put them in the comments below.
Yes.
Or any other cases that you would like us to look into.
I'm very excited.
All right.
All my favorite YouTuber goes like anything that you want me to talk about, anything that I want me to talk about, and sometimes we meet a little in the middle.
Yes, I love that. Okay,
Right?
That's all we have for today. Bye.
Bye.